What's up, Barefoot Nation? Today I'm going to teach you guys about this critical component to your pond. It is the skimmer. Now, this is a piece to your pond that will reduce your maintenance when you pick the right skimmer by probably 50% at least. What a skimmer does is a skimmer is going to collect all of your debris in your pond in one spot. So basically, if we come over here and take a look at my pond, you can see that the waterfall is on the other side of the pond. Now what that does is all the debris from the waterfall is pushed all the way across here. Now the water lilies do hamper that a little bit, a lot actually, but during the summer it's not as important. But basically this is called cross flow, and the waterfall is going to push all of this debris into a central location right over here, and the skimmer is right there. Now the whole point of an ecosystem water feature is to, and water features in general when they're done right, is to conceal kind of the guts of the water feature or the mechanical parts, make it look completely natural even though they're completely man-made. So basically, just a quick overview of before we go back to April and take a look at this install. Basically what you see here is a skimmer filter. Now this is basically a pool skimmer that's been modified to work better for ponds. So basically you have a basket that's removable, and you'll see this at the end of the video when I install all the parts. But there's a basket in there, and if you can see in there, I also have a filter mat for the finer debris, and that's the coarse mat. And then you can see just the very edge of the check valve and bulkhead fitting, which of course that's attached to the pump. I use Aquascape components in my water features. That Aquascape products really are designed for ease of maintenance and installation. So basically you've got a basket right there, but what you'll notice that's different about Aquascape skimmers compared to some others is that the Aquascape skimmer it takes up about the same footprint as many other skimmers, but it's a lot deeper. So basically this is about what your hole for your skimmer should look like. So you need to dig it a little bit bigger and a little bit over what the size of the unit is, because if not, it's going to be too hard to get in. So take note of these two extra excavations at the back of the hole. Basically what this is going to start to account for is the bulkheads in the back of the skimmer. This is a bulkhead, and that's the 2-inch fitting that the line will be glued to. I have two pumps in this application running two waterfalls. So basically, each bulkhead is going to be hooked up to a pump. This is not done. What you need to do is you need to make sure that this is level and tamped. So you don't want the skimmer to settle basically whatsoever. Otherwise, it'll affect how it skims your pond. So this hole is not done, but it's close to being done. You want your skimmer unit, as it's sitting in the pond with the liner on the other side, you want this whole piece here to be above the ground. So basically you're only burying, this part is completely buried, and maybe a little bit up to an inch or two. Alright, so now as you can see, the skimmer box is inside the hole, and it's perfectly level front to back, as well as side to side. Now it's time to backfill. And when you backfill, don't just backfill haphazardly. You're going to want to actually get inside your skimmer box and backfill this way. And now you're going to take your spade and your soil pile and physically backfill. Remember to leave your ports open. So I recommend starting with the front and sides as far as backfilling goes. But once your skimmer is level, you can take the time. This is basically what it's going to look like. So with an Aquascape skimmer, you're going to want it to look like that as far as the excavation. Underlayment is going to get cut away, go right up to it, get cut away, and then the liner gets fixed with silicone. We rollin'! All right! All right, guys, so when you're installing your skimmer, there's a couple things that you need to keep in mind and be sure to do very well. The first thing is clean the skimmer. If you look right here, this unit's been buried in the ground, so it's not gonna be clean. So get a rag or some kind of towel and clean off the skimmer, all of the dirt, around the holes. And give yourself a little leeway. Don't go like, clean it off like, if you see that, I basically have it cleaned like almost to this line right here in order to give me a little bit of leeway. It can't be understated because the silicone needs, what you'll be siliconing this later on, the silicone needs to bond to this plastic to make a watertight seal. So not only the outside of the skimmer, also take your rag and make sure you do the same thing on the inside, which is going to be a little bit easier to clean because it's not textured like the outsides. Do the same thing with the liner. Also, when you're installing your skimmer, be sure to leave a flap of liner underneath the skimmer. I'll show you guys once it's done, but be sure to leave a flap. In case of future settling, you're not going to have any tears or tension on the liner, which could potentially cause a leak. Your tamping that you did before, while you were setting this box in the ground, should alleviate that, but it's a fail-safe. Now, I'm going to kind of make sure that I have enough liner. So I guess you can kind of see right here, just make a little, and I'm going to have to clean more liner because this is going to be my flap. Another thing, be sure that you don't have any folds near the faceplate of the skimmer. So you don't want any, we're trying to alleviate any potential risks for leaks, whether it's immediately or in the future. So you're not going to be quite puncturing the liner yet, but you need to get the rear plate, the interior plate, assembled, or in place rather. So take your two spikes and the 3 holes on top and the 4 on the bottom. So now, looking in that way is easier. Now that that's installed, you're going to take your silicone, whether it's the Aquascape stuff it comes with, or any fish-safe silicone that you may have. Now, get a thick bead, so get everything clear and away, and it might help, again, to wipe it down. Be sure that you're not pressing the liner up against that silicone, because you don't want to do that again. Make sure that you've got 3 holes on top and 4 on the bottom. Be sure, guys, that you don't use power tools like drills or anything like that, or screw guns, just because you want these things tight, but you don't want to over-tighten them. So install the first 4 screws in the corners, and then once you've done that, you can do the rest in any order you want. What it does to install the corner screws first is allow the flexible exterior plate to bend and then kind of conform to the skimmer, which has a slight bend to its faceplate. Remember to give your silicone half an hour at minimum to cure and stick to your screws. Now, for the part that might freak you out most, but again, just like everything else, do it carefully, is let's trim this liner. So you see these 2 little golden knobs here. What those are, these accommodate these 2 little guys, and what that does is allows you to control your water level in the pond. So ideally, you're going to have your water level about 3/4 of an inch from the top of your skimmer opening. Now for the rest of the skimmer installation, take your media rack We'll take the false bottom, you could call it. It's clear which way it goes in. And you'll notice that it leaves a perfect opening for your pump. This guy, just screw that on in. That is your overflow. All right, guys, once you've gotten to this point, you're getting really close to being able to turn on your waterfall for the first time. All right, guys, now that you've gotten your media rack in, the next ingredient for your skimmer is your coarse filter pad. Now this, as you can see, has the cutout in the hole right there that the tubing and check valve just goes right over. And if you had multiple pumps, you'd have to either cut it out, or Aquascape might have a second cutout piece right there that you can get. After you have your coarse pad in the skimmer, the last ingredient, the second last technically, is your skimmer basket. Now this is what catches all of the big stuff, or most of the big stuff, like sticks, leaves, and all kinds of, organic waste that gets skimmed in. You can already see that there's a bamboo leaf that got skimmed in. Now, what you do is you match up the two tabs right there so that you, when you pull it off, you can see that you have to just match those two up, make sure it's pushed in and secure. The last thing you're gonna do is take your the hatch that closes it so that you can do maintenance. Open that guy up, which you have to literally force that tab up a little bit, but not too hard. And then once you guys do all that, you can take your remote for your pump and light up your waterfall. Once your pond has been up and running for a while, you're going to want to look in your skimmer every once in a while, or relatively frequently, just so that you start to get the hang of, the ecosystem of your specific pond. Because keep in mind, no two ponds are the same. Even though they're similar, your pond might have, a tree over it, like a maple that's constantly dropping stuff. Or certain palm trees, if you guys are in the tropics, are always dropping, biomass and stuff. So just be sure to be checking on your skimmer basket on a relatively regular basis. In general, for those who live in temperate climates, you're going to be checking the skimmer or having to clean the skimmer less during summertime. Whereas in autumn, whenever the trees are dropping their leaves, the deciduous trees, you're going to have to be cleaning that on a regular basis. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that now you have a better understanding not only of how to install your skimmers, but why they're important. Because truly, the skimmer is the most important component to your pond. Well, maybe besides liner. Alright guys, do me a favor, and if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. And if you want to see more content like this, whether it's ponds, gardens, tropicals, be sure to hit that subscribe button and tap the bell. And also, I want to hear from you guys, so drop a comment down below. I want to hear what you thought of the video. Thanks for watching, y'all. I'll see you on the next one.